My next guest is a very good actor and a great singer. And Bobby Quinn was telling me he's singing better than he ever did when he was singing great the last time we saw him. In addition to all those talents, he is responsible, as you probably know, for one of the funniest moments ever seen on The Tonight Show. Ed Ames. Well, I suppose you know that on our 14th anniversary, we had to dig out. And I think that's probably one of the earliest sequences we ever had. Most of the stuff is gone, unfortunately. But I had taken that one years ago when that happened. It had
in
the
glorious black and white.
In black and white. And I said to somebody, I said, in New York, I said, make me a kinescope of that, a film. And then they did it. It was in black and white at the time. And I hid it away. And that must have been, what, 1964?
I think
1965? That's the earliest thing we had.
Don't date us any more than you have to, Johnny.
And that's still, when we left it out 1 or 2 years when we didn't play it, and the people said, why? They wrote in and said, why didn't you play the Ed Ames throwing the tomahawk?
You gave me a 1-year reprieve, Johnny. I noticed tonight when Jimmy Stewart walked out, everybody stood up and applauded and gave him a magnificent ovation. And when I walked out, everybody went like that. That's what happens to me.
In case those of you who don't know what we're talking about, years ago when Ed was playing in the Daniel Boone show, Mingo the Indian, he came on in New York to give us a demonstration in the art of tomahawk throwing briefly. And we had a target set up, outline of a cowboy. Ed picked up first shot, couldn't rehearse it, let go of the tomahawk and zonk right in the very embarrassing region. And the audience absolutely collapsed and laughed for 2 or 3 minutes straight. It looked like something we had done electronically, and you couldn't have done it again if you'd have stood there for a century trying to do it. You still hear about that all the time? You must, wherever you go.
Everywhere I go. I have to tell you something. You introduced me a little. It wasn't quite correct what you said. When you said I didn't have my tomahawk, it wasn't quite true.
Don't tell me. No. You're not going to try to...
No.
You can't reprise that. No.
What actually happened was, I was down a year or two ago in Dallas, and they had the WCT tennis tournaments. And I went down as a guest, and I was going to do an exhibition. And that night, I was elected to present Arthur Ashe with his $30,000 balls.
Is that the one he brought on the show? He had a solid gold regulation-sized tennis ball, but it was solid 14 or 18 karat gold and worth about $40,000.
I think it's $30,000 each.
That's what I said, 30,000 or whatever it was. It was
And at the same time, the jeweler who made those up made me a little token of the evening's occasion. You can take a close shot on that.
Can you see that? Hey, and that's gold. A gold
Yes, a little diamond chips.
tomahawk. That's not bad. Was in memory of the wonderful evening?
That was in memory of that evening. I wanted to use it on Arthur, but I figured history couldn't repeat itself.
No, that was a wild, funny night, and I imagine wherever you go, you got to hear about that constantly, and to the point where you get tired of it, I suppose.
Absolutely. Well, people, I drive up to get gas in a gas station, and the guy comes out and he asks me where my tomahawk is, and I park the car. I go into a restaurant. People always wanted to know why I didn't, why you weren't the target that night, John.
Well, now I know. I would have ended my career in show business many years ago.
Well, you could always taken Barbara Walters' job,
Somebody told me you just got back. You did something that is kind of unusual. You've been going to college and to get a degree along with performing in concerts and doing your regular chores. You went and got your what?
I got my bachelor's degree at UCLA right here in
Los Angeles.
Well,
A lot of people want to do that after they have been out of school for a while and say, hey, I should go back and get a degree or work for a master's, and never do it. And you went ahead and did it.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
How's it feel being back in school now? Because you're older than, obviously, the other kids who are in school.
Well, it was nice because I could always write home for money, No, it was really fun. It was strange because, when I first came on the campus, I was well known, and obviously I wasn't the same age as the rest of the kids, and people would, I was sort of an oddity, I was sort of a freak on the campus for a while. But as time went on, they got used to. Bill Cosby, as you know, went back to get his doctorate back in Massachusetts.
In education, I understand. Visual education.
I think he received his by now too, and it's about the same thing happened. After a while, they get used to you, and it's kind of fun. Kids walk up and ask you all kinds of. For some reason, I think they think because you're older than they are that you know everything. Actually, I probably knew less than that. I learned a few things while I was there, and not in the classrooms.
Kids are brighter nowadays, the youngsters in college, I think, by far. No, I mean this. I think they have to meet a lot tougher curriculum than they did when we were in school, and the work is tougher, and the competition is murder.
It is. Oh, it's terrifying for those guys. I really feel sorry for them in a way, because after they get their degree, it's a big problem for them. What do they do with it?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, but I noticed that the amazing thing about those kids was how wise they were, not only in academic matters, but in politics and sports and things to smoke and.
They didn't have those corn silk when I was in school.
That's
couldn't quite pull it off.
But they are, though. They're way ahead of what I was when I was a kid, I tell you.
Yeah. Before you got to do something, you got to sing for us tonight, because Bobby said you are singing like crazy. We got to do this first. We're going to take this message. We'll be back. Be away this Saturday. Okay. We don't want to get behind time. The audience and I would love if you'd do something for us.
Yeah,
I'd love to. Right? Super.
Maybe I hang around here a little more than I should. We both know I got someplace else to go. I got something to tell you that I never thought I would. Something that you really ought to know. I love you. I honestly love you. Now you don't have to answer, I can see it in your eyes. Maybe it was better left unsaid, but this is pure and simple, and you must realize that it's coming from my heart and not my head. I love you. I honestly love you. Now I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm not trying to make you anything at all. But these feelings, they don't come along every day. And we shouldn't blow the chance when we get the chance to say, I love you. I love you. I honestly love you. And if we both were born in another place and time, this moment might be ending with a kiss. There you are with yours, and here I am with mine. So I guess we'll just be leaving it at this. I love you. I honestly love you. I honestly love you.
That's a lovely song. It's been too long between trips here. You got to come back sooner.
Well, just ask me.
All righty. Now that you got your degree and everything.
You ought to let me take another crack. Give me another chance with the Tomahawk.
No, because we'd never top it. We'll take a break. We're coming right back.
You want to get me?